wolfdog spotted in northern Minnesota.
Oh, we made it to Friday. We're having a great time. Thanks for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. We have a lot to get to today, including what's happening on day 2 of the Minnesota State Fair. Alexis, as you see, has been all around the grounds this morning. Who have you been talking to?
Hey guys, you know, I love making new friends. Day 2 here at the Great Minnesota Get Together, and we've been doing just that. We're gonna hang out with celebrity chef Yia Vang. We have some amazingly rhythmic dancers coming towards the end of the show. And you can't forget about, I don't know, a guy named Chance the Rapper. He's actually performing at the State Fair tonight. We get a chance to catch up with him as well. And today in the KARE 11 barn, we are celebrating Hmong culture. There's so much to celebrate, so many new people to introduce you to, and I think we'll learn a thing or two. It's the perfect weather for it. You know, Ben, we got rained on a little bit when we got here, but the sun definitely came out. I won't sing for you, but it came out and it didn't come out tomorrow.
You know what? The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar. Yeah, it's for some of you early risers. We did see a few stray showers early this morning as a weak frontal system kind of limps on top of us. And you can see it's mainly just clouds right now. This is both radar and satellite overlaid on top of each other. I want to zoom in a little closer. You can see what's left of those showers exiting the area, and I do think we will see slow clearing as we head deeper into the day. That means brighter conditions. That means little to no rain chance as we head into the second half of your Friday. So positive news there. Live look outside. Still have those clouds lingering as we head into the first couple minutes of the afternoon. You can see temperatures will warm up once we get into that sun. Yesterday we hit a high of, I think, 73 degrees, and we saw that at about 7 o'clock last night. That's when we saw the clearing after that rainy mid-afternoon, we'll say. Nothing like that in the forecast right now. We will see gradual clearing today, followed by a condensed heat wave. I don't really want to call it a heat wave because we'll be near 90 for a couple of days. Nothing record-setting, and it's going to last until about Monday of next week, followed by cooler conditions, seasonal temperatures by next week, and a couple of smaller chances for some showers and storms. We'll highlight that in your 7-day forecast coming up, Cece.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Ben. Well, if history has taught us anything, it's that the first weekend at the fair will be packed. And that means figuring out the best game plan to get there and where to park. Michelle Beck walks us through that.
The number of fairgoers every day is in the hundreds of thousands. Look at the way traffic is backed up here. So many red taillights you can see in this steady stream of cars. Naturally, you can expect parking to be very hard to find. In yesterday's case, fair officials said all on-site parking was full before 11 a.m. And then by noon, officials said many of the free park and ride lots were also full. Park and ride, by the way, is what fair officials strongly encourage. Well, and that's why I'd keep this State Fair website bookmarked, because it'll update you throughout the day which lots are available. If lots are full, there is street parking, but my producer told me he searched for 90 minutes yesterday to find a spot, and you'll likely have to walk a mile to 2 miles, which will be grueling given the heat we are anticipating this weekend. And with so many people out here looking for parking, naturally you could also see so many neighbors of the State Fairgrounds, in this case the church, but also homeowners as well as nonprofits in the area. They're all presenting their parking lots as options for these fairgoers. You can see that it costs about $20 per vehicle to park in this specific lot right here, which is pretty standard, I would say, between $20 and $30 to find parking per car in this general neighborhood. By the State Fairgrounds, Michelle Beck, KARE 11 News.
And some good advice there. So as we see, driving can be a hassle. So why not take the Metro Transit Express buses? They're air conditioned and drop you right off at the gates. Check out the blue dots. You can see they can pick you up in Blaine, Maple Grove, at the Maplewood Mall, in Minnetonka, Bloomington, and Cottage Grove. It should only cost you $5 or $6 there. Now, once you get to the fair, here are today's featured events. It's Governor's Fire Prevention Day, and youth from around the state will square off in a variety of firefighter competitions. This is happening through 6 o'clock at Dan Patch Park. Blue Ribbon Bingo is at the Ramberg Center. Sessions start each hour on the hour, and you have 3 more hours to celebrate Smokey the Bear's 80th birthday at the DNR Park. Well, some big names in Minnesota are at the fair today. Senator Tina Smith is already joining the fun, but there's no word yet if Governor Tim Walz will be there. He's heading back to Minnesota today, and while he couldn't be there for day 1 of the fair, he posted on X a hilarious video from last year's fair with his daughter Hope. Walz wished everyone a happy opening day. He's pretty busy. Now to the race for the White House. In just over 2 weeks, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump will debate, now as their official party's presidential nominees. Overnight, Harris officially accepted that nomination at the DNC. John Croman is in Chicago after a historic night.
Freedom, future, forward, all buzzwords that ran throughout Vice President Kamala Harris's acceptance speech at the United Center. She kept the crowd here riveted as she defended America as a place with endless possibilities and told her life story. The Vice President laid out her plans to help middle-class families afford their lives, to spur growth in small business and make streets safer and clean the nation's air and secure America's borders. But what really hit with the crowd here were several key Democratic Party values: expanding voting rights, defending NATO's allies against Russia, reproductive rights for women.
And I want you to know, I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self.
We saw a lot of red, white, and blue on the stage as Vice President Harris and Governor Tim Walz made it to the stage for the big finale. It's part of the effort to reframe patriotism by this campaign as something that's about celebrating America as a place where people from humble beginnings can aspire to the highest job in the world. In Chicago, John Croman, KARE 11 News.
And later today, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is expected to address the nation from Phoenix, and sources say the independent will drop his bid for the presidency. And Kennedy's campaign is reportedly in talks with Donald Trump's team about a possible endorsement. Trump is holding his own rally in Phoenix tonight. Earlier this week, a reporter asked Trump about whether there would be a spot for Kennedy in his administration if he were to win. Here's what he had to say.
I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen. He's a very different kind of a guy, very smart guy. And yeah, I would be honored by that endorsement.
Trump downplayed the possibility of Republican backlash from having Kennedy in his potential administration because of his previous progressive positions. Back here at home, 3 Minnesota police officers are out of the hospital after a crash involving multiple squad cars. MPD tells us the squads were responding to separate calls just before 3 this morning. They crashed on 1st Avenue South and 32nd Street East. Shortly after officers were taken to the hospital, a 4th officer wasn't hurt. We know more today about those mysterious sheens spotted on the Mississippi River. In the last 24 hours, state officials tested the water and determined there was nothing toxic in it. The first sheen was spotted Tuesday at the Highway 610 bridge in Coon Rapids. A second, smaller sheen was reported Wednesday, too. Officials say the water is safe to drink. And an update on electricity costs. Xcel Energy is reversing course on a controversial payment plan proposed just a few months ago. The time of use program would have changed customers higher rates during peak times. Now, after receiving public input, the company decided to make it optional instead of mandatory. Xcel also plans to shorten and shift the peak period and reduce the difference between peak and off-peak rates. Just a few short hours ago, the Fed Chair Jerome Powell laid the groundwork for interest rate cuts. The central bank leader said the time has come for policy to adjust. Powell made the announcement at the Fed's annual retreat in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, but he didn't give an exact time or the cuts or their extent, saying it will depend on incoming data and the balance of risks. Markets are expecting the Fed to start cutting in September. And just after Powell's speech, the Dow rose more than 300 points. After 17 hours, a Canadian freight rail labor stoppage is over. Trains are already getting back on track, meaning for the most part, the U.S. has dodged a devastating economical impact. Today, labor union leaders are set for arbitration with Canada's 2 largest rail companies. One of those companies is promising better wages, more rest time, and more predictable scheduling. That's good news for the U.S. economy. About 30% of freight on those railroads crosses the U.S.-Canadian border.
A lot of the United States runs on Canadian oil, tar sands, other things, and a lot of what we consider American cars are actually assembled in Canada.
Experts say if the railroads were to shut down, trucking capacity wouldn't be able to make up for the break in the supply chain. Well, the popular uptown restaurant Kim's is closing its doors a week from today. It comes less than 2 months after the staff voted to unionize. The restaurant was also vandalized in June when someone threw a cement slab and can off paint through a window. Kim's posted on Instagram saying they're closing because of ongoing financial losses.